So we have, by the way, Jessica and I were talking to Sue, and we're hoping that maybe the winner could get some tickets to an actual moth and have the opportunity to tell their story. And Sue graciously offered tickets to everyone. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone is a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
So let's see. We do have a high score.
Woo!
And the favorite story of our audience that was watching on the webinar was the baseball story. Show us that baseball, Wes. Hey, Wes Olds, baseball story.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, everybody. I wouldn't have picked me, to be honest.
Well, I have your vote.
Wes, it's another unexpected moment.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to share that story with my grandkids who are just learning to play baseball.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So some things are coming in on the chat. We'll try to monitor it. So does anyone from our audience have any questions for any of the panelists, or maybe a general question that we can just take turns answering, or anything? Yeah, so Ruth Ann has asked for you to raise your hand. So I guess she is monitoring that piece.
What is Jacob?
The blind squirrel finding a nut? Is that for you, Wes? Yeah, you can type your questions in the chat. I'm trying to keep track of that.
Oh, someone's.
Oh, Willie, what happened?
Story, Willie. Oh no! But you can. I think you can go back and watch it on.
Yeah, Corey. Did this happen to you before, Corey? You're gonna.
Oh, that was Corey.
Corey, you're gonna have to watch tomorrow when our recording gets. Oh, that happened to Susie. Corey, when everything gets rendered and gets saved on YouTube, you can watch it then. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, and Sue, thanks again, Sue. We're so grateful. And I saw, as I'm a nurse, and I saw that you're going to be doing one for UVMMC. So we'll see. Maybe I'll sign up myself.
Well, I have a question for the panelists, and feel free, any one of you want to answer. I'm curious, for you personally, what was the hardest part of this process? Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
I will answer that. For me, the hardest part was picking which story to tell. I had 3 stories in my head, and I wasn't sure which one sounded best and fit best with a moth story, and which one fit tonight's theme best. So I'm glad I picked this one.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
You know, I had that song going in my head so many times while I was practicing this.
Anyone else want to share anything that was hardest for you? Yeah, go ahead, Rachel.
I think the hardest thing for me was practicing the story so much that I stopped getting goosebumps from it, and then wondering if everybody else would be like, so what, March 8th? What's the big deal? So that was probably the hardest thing.
Well, I got goosebumps again, so it's still there.
Yeah, beautiful.
I think the hard part for me, and Sue talks about this in the class, is that when you're so immersed in the story, you start to hate it. Like when you first write, it's like, this is awesome. And then you read it again, you're like, this is horrible. And then hopefully you settle somewhere between those 2 extremes and learn to make peace with the story. But as you're trying to memorize, you get really hung up on some of the details. And then you realize, like, none of that should matter. I should just be telling the story. But it's hard for me.
I just want to comment on Tisa said her granddaughter's inspired, and it just made me think, maybe we can do a kids story slam.
Yes.
That could be fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We have to do more of these. This is
I mean, it in the end, it's not that complicated. I think the for Jess and I, the most nerve-wracking part was worried if we were going to get enough people to participate.
Yes.
and it turns out we had double the number that we needed.
And it was hard to choose too, because
was hard to
there's
choose.
some other great stories, but also keeping in mind that we could do this again. So that made it a little easier.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead, Siobhan. Chevy.
Well, I was just going to say, for me, the hardest part was like the last two sentences of my story. I kept breaking down and crying every time I practiced it. I don't know why, but yeah, that was tough.
Yep.
Oh, but that's beautiful at the same time, you know, you were touching something deep, some emotion deep inside. That's
it's definitely way still there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had the range here. We had humor, and we had some heartache and some challenges, and it was a nice collection of stories, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to take a stab? There's Ruth Ann, our tech savvy
Thanks.
Zoomer.
I have a question
Okay.
for the storytellers. So the theme that you were given was the unexpected. Did you feel like you had sort of, like, I had an immediate connotation in my mind of the unexpected, like, oh, it's got to be like mysterious and different and weird. But so many of your stories were not really about weird things, but about ordinary things that were unexpected. So I just was curious to know if everybody had like a hard time wrapping their heads around what is unexpected, or if it was easy for you. Anybody raise your hand if you want to answer.
It's funny you should say that, because Susan Bachner can attest that I was completely neurotic and said, it's not unexpected enough. My story isn't quite, it's not like nobody dies. I don't have cancer. Like I have all these other stories that I could be telling that are really wildly unexpected. And this feels really subtle. And it's a cute little story that I like and I want to nurture, but I'm not sure it meets the theme. And she was like, get over yourself.
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering. So yeah, anybody else want to comment on that? I'm just
Billy, what did you say?
I didn't really think about it at all. I just thought, oh, that's a good story. That would work. So I just pitched it.
It worked well.
And for mine, I don't know, the subject matter seemed to fit the story. I was thinking, for me, like unexpected both meant something you didn't expect, as well as in my story, you know, typically we say when someone's pregnant, they're expecting, right? And so I was thinking about how this for me was sort of the unexpected experience. So I don't know, it kind of struck home for me in that way.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyone else want to take a stab at Ruth Ann's or my question?
I thought that was a nice broad topic. It took me a while to arrive at my story, but yeah, it was good. And it also is good for this year of COVID.
Yeah.
This is Sue Schmidt, everyone who's still with us. We still have 18 people watching.
I'm
Thanks.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you guys crushed this. Oh my gosh, what an amazing night of stories. Yeah. Just big props to all the storytellers, because you guys really all put so much time and effort in, and it showed in every one of your stories. So thank you for a fabulous night of entertainment.
Yeah, and it was so amazing how you guys, from your initial, like, you know, when you submitted to the 2 times you heard it, and then to tonight, it was really like the art, the art form. Thank you.
So for the people at home, so we everyone here, including and double this number, pitched us a story on the Valley Players voicemail. And then everyone was invited to come to a workshop with Sue and just kind of figure out how that story could work. And Sue gave us a workshop on how to tell a good story, and gave people like some parameters and some guidelines and some strategies. And then everyone, not everyone, but out of I think there were 18 people there. Out of the 18 people there, I think 16 people pitched a story, a full 5 to 8 minute story. And then Jessica and I had to whittle it down. Sue said we should pick 8, so we picked 9. And then and so here we are. And then we had another workshop where we got to flush out the stories, and everyone told their story. And I've shared this with this group, but the feedback that you gave one another was spectacular, really thoughtful. And I think it really helped people grow, their stories grow.
Yeah, and there was such a connectiveness between all of us. I felt like we really shared something special during that time frame. So these workshops aren't just, I don't know if anyone's out there listening, but I think it'd be worth, like, if you have a business or something like that, to learn how to tell your story.
Yeah, the work. I mean, we've had this conversation a couple times in different scenarios where doing things on Zoom is a little less personal. And, because a lot of times these events, people are hanging out in the green room and really connecting with one another. And kudos to Sue Schmidt for bringing us together in this kind of environment.
Well, and kudos again back to to you, both of you who organized this. And it's about the storytellers. It's all about the storytellers. It's really about when people come together and what they're willing to invest and what they're willing to put in and how vulnerable they're willing to be with each other. And this particular group of people was just really willing to open their hearts and talk about, not just happy things, but hard things. And that makes all the difference in storytelling when you have a group of people that say, you know what, I'm going to open it up and let people in. And that was really evident, I think, in all of the storytellers and their willingness to just participate wholeheartedly in this event. So thank you. Honored and privileged to be amongst you.
Well, Sue, we have a question for you. Someone asked, will you be doing the workshop again? So I think a broader question is, how do people find out about storytelling workshops?
Folks can find me at SuzanneSchmidtStories.com. You can go to the Moth website. The Moth just made the decision we are going to open up live storytelling again starting in August. So we are going to be doing a couple of stories. We're going to try to restart our story slams. And there's tons of fabulous places that you can get resources. And I would say at this point, any one of the storytellers that you heard tonight, I think would likely be willing to talk to you about their process and what they know about storytelling and, just how to tell a good story. So, there's not magic to it. It's really about, are you willing to be vulnerable and share your work? But I'm happy to field questions if people want to learn more. And
Okay. All right.
So what's left?
The party, the after party.
Yeah. So this is where we say goodbye to the audience and we all go backstage and hang out. And we drink some beverages in the green room for a couple of hours, and then we're like, we gotta go. But we're already home.
We're home. I didn't have wine. I had
to drive. That's good.
What'd you say?
Nobody has to drive, so that's
right. Yeah. So one last thanks to the storytellers. Thanks for making this evening memorable, and thank you to the audience. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Thank you, Sue. Thanks, Jess. Thanks for
Doug
getting over your nerves to join me here.
And thank you for agreeing to do this.
Oh, you betcha. Okay.
This is really, I just wanted to say on behalf of the Valley Players Board of Directors and having been involved with Theater in Your Home, which has been sort of our COVID relief project since October, this was definitely a highlight for me after all of these months. So thank you everybody for participating, and let's do it again.
Yeah. And thank you for supporting Share MRV.